Now hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, it is time to talk about a very, savage plane again. Yes, right in front of us, we have the C-17 Globemaster. Yeah, the mighty C-17 Globemaster, built by Boeing and used by militaries all around the world. Now, previously I made a video about this plane, claiming that this plane can land everywhere on the planet, on every short runway that you can find, and that was actually kind of true. This plane is it's very savage, as I already said. So even short runways like this one is not a problem at all. This is the cockpit of this plane. This plane is from the 90s. It's a little dated for today's standards, I guess. We are just normally taking off. These are some very strong engines that we have on board, and there we go. We can just normally take off just like this, even though this is actually getting a little closer than I wanted it to be. Okay, maybe the claim that this plane can fly everywhere around the world might be a little false, but alright, there we go. We're just fine now. Right, that really didn't work out. Ooh, that is a little embarrassing, not gonna lie. Or at least this plane is said to be able to land on every airport. Let's try that capability. But that is not the only thing that this plane is, known for. It's not the only skill that it has, kind of. Now, yes, this plane came out in 1995. As I already said, this is from the 90s, and it was produced till 2015. Even though, they're still flying all around the world, they are not producing this plane anymore, but I'm pretty sure you can still get your own C-17 Globemaster if you have around like $230 million laying around. Just like that, you can do that. This is quite a short runway, so this will be interesting indeed. Yeah, that was a Ryanair landing, but it was a stop, kind of, so this was kind of successful still. Landing is not the only skill that this plane has, even though being able to land is quite normal for a plane. As I already said, there's some other features. Let's just try that out a little bit. Something that the C-17 is actually known for being able to do is its capability to fall out of the sky, kind of. Now yes, a military plane, it needs to be able to be very quick, right? It has to have the ability to make a tactical descent. What that means is that you lose a lot of altitude in not a lot of time. Let's just do that. Now, how does the C-17 fall out of the sky? Something that this plane can actually do compared to pretty much any other plane is it can apply reverse thrusters on the engine in mid-air. There we go. As you can see, we have the rev sign here. Let's just go ahead and pull full power, and we're gonna be able to fall down from the skies at a descent rate of even up to 11,000 feet in the minus. There we go. We're falling out of the sky and we're barely gaining some speed thanks to these reverse thrusters that we have turned on. Isn't that amazing? There we go. We are losing more and more altitude. Yeah, this plane can actually, descend from 25,000 feet to 5,000 feet in, guess what, 58 seconds in even under a minute, which is pretty ridiculous. There we go. This is what that would look like. And it's just fine with that. It's just chilling here. It's just vibing out the tactical descent rate. We can even do some maneuvers, I guess. That is no problem in the C-17 Globemaster. We really do have some pretty strong engines on here that can provide these things. Yeah, being able to pull reverse thrusters in mid-air is really exceptional. And I mean, in an airliner, it obviously wouldn't make sense. Some people might even pass out in that descent that we had right now. And there we go. We can immediately land on this small runway that we have right in front of us without any issues. Let's get rid of the reverse thrusters and fly this plane just like a normal plane would. Yeah, isn't stuff like that amazing?
Landing gear.
Oh yeah, the landing gear. We might not forget about that one. This went by very fast. We went down from 25,000 feet to the runway within a minute or even less, or it's maybe a minute and a half, but it's pretty impressive. There we go. And the landing gear is pretty tough, so you can even do a very hard landing and it won't really care. There we go. The C-17 Globemaster is quite a quick stopper too. Again, thanks to its very strong reverse thrust power. There we go. That was pretty nice. And this time around I didn't crash the plane, so that was also good. Even though that was another very hard landing. The C-17 has been around for quite a while, I guess. And it's been used by a lot of air forces. Of course, it's still in service. It's a pretty modern plane. The United States Air Force, the Indian Air Force, the Royal Air Force, and a lot of other operators are actually using this plane. Back when it was produced, around 279 of these planes were produced, which is actually not too much. I actually kind of expected a little more, especially for an impressive plane like this. It's kind of disappointing, even to a point. But yeah, that's still a few more sales than something like the A380 or the 737 MAX 8, because that doesn't fly at all, right? Now, obviously, this plane in military is used as a transport plane. We cannot get into the, you know, the cargo hold here for some reason. That is locked down, which is pretty unfortunate, I would say. But mostly, you would see cargo here in that plane. Actually, we have this is an Italian Air Force livery, isn't it? That's also very interesting. Something we can do, obviously, without any issues is actually open the ramp here. And now we can take a look at what it is inside of this plane. Well, there's actually a lot of things that we can do. There's also the airdrop mode, which is very interesting. What else can we open? Let's open it all. Troop doors, left, right. That's interesting and all that. Yeah, we can obviously open all these doors in mid-air probably as well, even though the right doors I'm not quite sure of. But of course, the main door can open for, you know, airdropping. So yeah, this plane it's very versatile, which is its main point. It can fly everywhere. It can fly anything. For example, the United States Air Force, they like to, you know, transport the presidential car in it when the president is taking a trip to somewhere. Then behind the actual modified 747, which is the Air Force One, you can see C-17s flying, you know, all the cars that the president will ride, I guess. So that's pretty cool. So yes, there is not a lot of things that this plane can't do, and it's pretty cool in general. Oh, we still have the stairs here sticking out. That might not be good. Now, another very interesting version of the C-17 Globemaster, or should I say livery, is obviously the one that we have right in front of us, the Qatar livery. Now, you may be wondering, well, okay, is this used for the cargo facility of Qatar Airways? And obviously it's not. This plane is only used by military. It's not a civil plane at all. And no, don't worry, Qatar Airways does not have a military section, obviously. But no, it's really just the Qatari Emiri Air Force that uses this plane. And they apparently like the Qatar Airways livery, so they just painted that one on this plane. It looks very interesting indeed. Alright, it almost looks like a Photoshop. Oh my goodness. I'm really not good with landings today, but that doesn't matter. This plane it's very tough, and it doesn't care about bad landings. So yeah, that is how the Qatar Airways livery on the C-17 Globemaster came. It is not that much of an exciting story. It would be funny to actually have a C-17 used by a normal airline. That is probably something that Air Koryo, which is the North Korean flagship airline, would do. They actually fly passengers on Ilyushin's 76. They actually fly passengers on the daily basis on Ilyushin Il-76, which is also like a pretty interesting plane. Also only used by military pretty much. Actually, that one is counted as one of the most dangerous planes on the planet. This one is not as dangerous, even though there have been a few incidents. I'm just reading through the reports. On December 10th, 2003, a C-17 was hit by a surface-to-air missile after takeoff from Baghdad in Iraq. One engine was disabled and the aircraft returned for a safe landing. That is very much savage. If you can survive a surface-to-air missile and just land with 3 remaining engines, that is very much savage. There's actually only been one fatal accident with this plane, and that one was human error, so this plane is perfectly fine to fly. But there's actually been a few funny incidents, I would say. For example, in 2012, the C-17 landed in Tampa, Florida, but at the wrong airport. How does that come to be? Yeah, they actually were supposed to land at MacDill Air Force Base, which is in Tampa, Florida, but they landed at Peter O. Knight Airport, which is very close, and that one doesn't have that much of a long runway. Oh wow, really not. 900 meters. This is gonna be an interesting landing. I wonder how they did this. Let's just try landing there. According to the papers, it's actually possible. This plane only requires a 1,000 meter long runway, which is 3,500 feet, so this should be possible. I guess this can be interesting. Alright, welcome to Florida. We don't have any high resolution satellite scenery here. Oh, this is actually a pretty interesting airport. I could actually make a video about that one, but let's just focus on landing this plane here. Probably a more important thing. Oh yeah, landing gear. We might want to use that. Here we go, looking good. Let's apply the infamous reverse thrusters in mid-air, which doesn't make for a very smooth landing, but a very quick one, I would say, which is probably required here. Oh my goodness. Alright, this landing had actually worked out just fine, just as I thought, and in real life the plane landed and took off again without any issues as well, so that's also no problem, which is very interesting. Just look how small this runway is. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Now yes, what can we say? The C-17, it obviously is a very, very nice plane. It can transport a lot of cargo, a lot of troops. In total, it can transport 135 troops, or even cargo like a tank, or some security vehicles, or some strikers, which is another security vehicle. Very, very interesting things. So yeah guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night.